Boy, I sure do love building model kits. This is so relaxing and fun. Yeah, I sure am glad that there's nothing around in my room to disturb me or anything. That would really suck. Maybe I should stop saying stuff like that. It probably comes across as some kind of poorly written, ominous foreshadowing or something.
You see Gundam.
What? What do you want?
Review me right now, or else tell the world all about me.
Why the fuck would I do that?
If you don't, I'm going to trigger third impact.
Huh, wow. Only a true Evangelion fan would get that reference.
Do it, pussy.
But Perfect Grade Evangelion Unit 1, I can't review you right now. I have to review the high grade build fighters Gyancelot. Anyways, hello everyone, welcome back to another Mecha Model Kit review. Today, we're taking a look at the high-grade build fighters Gyancelot. Now, Galactic Toys did not send me this kit, however, I did pick it up from their store quite some time ago, actually. For those of you who remember, it was in my shopping video that I did about over half a year ago. Because I'm planning on making a speed build and a review video for each individual kit in this video. Yeah, half those kits are still unbuilt in my backlog to this day. So even though they didn't send me this kit, of course, I still do recommend that you guys check them out if you're looking for any models or modeling supplies. And of course, you can use code YSG10 for 10% off your order, and you can find their website with the link down in the description. Okay, on to the actual review. By the way, peep the new wallpaper. Thanks to Sawself on Twitter for forcing me to use that one. Anyways, this kit comes to us from the High Grade Build Fighters series. Bet you wouldn't have figured that one out. I mean, it only says Build Fighters right on the box. Insightful commentary. And if you're not familiar with the show, it's just about a bunch of people who really like building Gunpla.
Wow, they're just like me!
If you haven't seen it already, I do actually recommend that you check out the show. It's pretty good, it's a very fun watch through, and it has a very good plot. But yeah, this kit's awesome, aside from a few aspects. More like Gyancelot of stickers, am I right? Fuck me, man. I did have a lot of fun building this kit, and it turned out to be a decent bit larger than I was originally expecting. Size comparison. High grade Hazel, Gurren Lagann, master grade Goof Custom. And I mean, the aesthetics of this kit are really something to behold. It's a fun little design that I think works great. Of course, it's based on the classic Gyan. It just has an updated knight aesthetic on top of it, which I personally think is fucking awesome. All the details are sculpted beautifully and sharply. Overall, just a very clean, good-looking design that I'm happy to have up on my shelf. The beam effects on the twin capes and the plume on its helmet just look so awesome. And I mean, I can't lie, I might be a little biased in favor of this design because beam capes are actually one of my all-time favorite design choices on a mobile suit, like, ever. I just wish we would see them implemented more. Bandai, Sunrise, God, anybody who's listening up there, please give us more mobile suits with beam capes, please. Well, that and more.
Beam Tonfa.
Oh wow, what an epic callback, am I right? Please do not watch my older videos. Now, the biggest drawback to the aesthetics of this kit has got to be the large amount of stickers that we get with this thing. Thankfully, they are all for the gold trim on this kit and for the mono eye inside of the helmet here, which unfortunately, but understandably cannot move around. But after this review, I'm definitely stripping all these shitty little things off and painting the gold trim on like this kit really deserves. Just gotta have the stickers on for the out-of-box review. That's what I tell myself to justify not putting any effort into these things. Now, most, if not all of these stickers wrap around multiple surfaces, which makes them a huge pain in the ass to put on for most people. Huh, not me though. I guess I'm just built different. The sticker on what I assume is the rear fuel tank here is probably the worst offender though. This is one sticker that wraps around what, like 3 surfaces? Would it be too much to ask, Bandai, for you to just print off one more extra gold piece just to fit over the end here instead of making it one of the worst stickers I've ever seen? On second thought, you know what, never mind. The gold that they used on this kit is hideous. The brownish gold on the front of the shield here, this is fine, this looks nice. But this golden spear here looks like it's made out of fucking mac and cheese. Oh well, nothing that a good paint job can't fix, I guess. The joke here is that I always say I'm going to paint my kits and then never do. I think in all honesty, outside of the stickers, my biggest gripe with this kit is it can be actually hard to pose it without an action base. Now, don't get me wrong, the articulation isn't that bad. However, these feet don't have the best range of movement. Their kind of small size and lack of an ankle pivot can make it quite tricky to balance the kit on its 2 feet, especially without all of the accessories attached, which do do add a bit of a nice balance to the kit. Once you have it all geared up, it's pretty fine, but without the accessories, I did find it a little difficult to keep it standing. Like I said, if these feet had just a bit more of an ankle pivot and a little bit more surface area on the bottom, I think that would make this kit just so much better. Of course, there's not really much that we can do about it, but it is what it is. Sadly, because of that too, you're not gonna really be able to pull off any super dynamic poses with this guy, but it's serviceable. Onto the seam lines. So of course, we do get a few. It's a high grade after all, can't be helped. There's technically one on the front of the leg, but it meets where these two parts hit their peak, and when you sandwich them together, it's really not that visible to the naked eye. The one on the back of the leg here is disguised as a panel line up until you get to right here, and it does become a little more visible. On the sides of the thighs right here, again, not that bad, just looks more like a panel line than anything. On the wrist area right here, surprisingly, none on the shoulders at all. Nice. There's a tiny one on the back of the head here, and a big long one running down the fuel tank. Overall, there's nothing to really complain about here. Of course, if these do bother you, you can always fix them up yourself, you lazy bastard. But most of the seam lines here are cleverly disguised as recessed details, panel lines, whatever you want to call them, and I do really appreciate that. It's a nice thing to have. Moving on to the accessories. The high-grade Build Fighters Gyan does come with a couple of accessories, and it's basically anything you could want from a Gyan kit. First up, we get the missile shield. This thing looks really nice. The part here that mounts onto the arm does have a few points of articulation. It can swing out, extend just like so, and it can fold around just like that. This allows you to pose it around the Gyan's arm in multiple different ways. To attach it to the Gyan, all you gotta do is slip that peg right into the hand and fold it over. Pretty easy. We also get the Gyan's classic beam sword, but who gives a shit about that when you get the super awesome Xeon Lance? Aside from being molded in a nauseatingly bad looking gold injection color, this thing's pretty cool. You do get an alternate part where if you swap it out, it looks just like the Xeon logo with the blades extended there. And if that's not cool, I don't know what is. Actually, something that's even better is the fact that, according to the wiki, this beam plume on the top of his head serves an actual combat purpose. And that is, and I quote, to intimidate enemies on the battlefield. I'm sorry, I cannot get over how stupidly cool this thing is. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm really happy with the accessories we get. Like I mentioned earlier, without the accessories being in his hands, the backpack right here does tend to throw the balance off quite a bit, but like I said, get the accessories in his hand, you're not gonna have a problem really. Now the Gyan by default comes with two of these fist style holding hands, but we also get on the right arm over here a different style holding hand specifically made for the Xeon Lance. I like this one because it allows you to hold the lance at an angle, and it has a little bit of wrist articulation added that the other hands don't. Of course, if you want to put the Xeon Lance into the Gyancelot's hand, all you have to do is just pop that hand right open, slip the lance into that channel right there. Oops, just like that, and close up the hand. Now, when I first saw this, I was actually pretty worried that this thing was going to have a bit of a loose connection, but he actually holds onto this very well. It's a very tight-fitting connection in there. It doesn't slip around or even want to spin that much unless you really force it. So that's good. Onto the articulation. We get a ball joint at the head, can go forward and backwards slightly, can turn side to side, but the helmet design and this little collar here prevents it from doing a full 360. The shoulders sit on a hinge joint and can move up just like this. The shoulders also have a slight butterfly joint just like this. The arm can move up just like so. However, this shoulder severely limits the range of motion. The joint in there actually lets the arm move up further, but like I said, the shoulder does block it, so that is unfortunate. This is as high up as it will go. We get a full rotation at the upper bicep. This kit is, I believe, based on the Gyan Revive, so it does have those updated joints, which allows it to do a very nice elbow bend. Standard ball joint wrist. There's a little bit of side to side motion here and a bit of an ab crunch. However, if you make it crunch too far, the ball joint will just kind of pop out. The fuel tank back here is on a hinge joint and can move up and down. The twin beam capes can hinge up and down just like this and rotate out side to side. Little bit of movement on the front skirt, little bit of movement on these side skirts. The legs surprisingly can do the full splits. Some rotation at the upper thigh, although we do not get a full spin. We get a very nice knee bend just like this. The ankle pivot, which could be a little better, but it's not terrible. Foot all the way up, and we get a toe bend here and foot all the way down. So in my opinion, the articulation on this kit is pretty good as far as high grades go. I really have no complaints here. Something I probably should have mentioned earlier in the review is that on top of having decent articulation, this kit is actually pretty solid. Aside from the ball joint in the waist here that does pop out sometimes, all of these joints feel great to pose around. They're going to be solid enough to hold any pose you might want to put them in, but they're not too tight to the point where you feel like you're going to damage the kit by playing around with it. I found posing this kit to be pretty fun. It is pretty photogenic and it looks great in most poses, especially holding this giant lance here. Again, the only problem you're really maybe going to run into is trying to get it to balance on its feet. Oh, that wasn't so bad. But yeah, so that's it for the review of the High Grade Build Fighters Gyancelot. Overall, I really love this kit. I enjoyed building it a lot, aside from the stickers, which again, I'm hoping to be able to paint. And the finished product is great, fun to pose around, looks great in almost any pose, and it just overall is a nice, solid, good looking little kit. If you're looking for a new kit to build, something with an interesting design that maybe doesn't take too long to build or too much effort, I definitely recommend picking one of these up, especially if you're a fan of the Gyan or Knight aesthetics in general. I love this thing. I think it would actually maybe be fun to get a couple more to make a little Knight army of these guys. But anyways, yes, that is it for the review. That's about all I have to say. Of course, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons for continuing to support me. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please leave a like on the video if you liked it. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any ideas for me for future videos or kits you want to see me review. I mean, I kind of have a personal trajectory of what I'd like to build and review next. I'm gonna try to start knocking out all those P-Bandai kits I got from my recent unboxing video. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making it, and expect more soon, of course. I've got a lot of kits to build, got a lot of kits to review, and I've got a bunch of time and energy on my hands right now to make videos, so that's good. I think that's all I have to say for this video, so thanks. Take care. See ya.